John, what are we doing here? What's going to happen on Sunday? Because I've got no idea what to expect. Do you?
Yeah, I do really. It's celebrating two wonderful sports, which I've enjoyed thoroughly, which have put aside, to one side, 100 years of animosity, bringing them together to celebrate not only the lads who are playing, but also to raise awareness and support an amazing cause, which is the fight against MND.
Doddie, Weir, a former teammate of yours.
Yeah.
What was he like to play with and train with and just generally be around?
Bonkers, absolutely crazy. I had 2 wonderful years with him at Newcastle. Also, we shared that amazing experience in South Africa with the British and Irish Lions. But beyond that, my friendship and relationship was extended with Doddie over another 12 years, travelling all over the world, speaking at dinners and events, and Hong Kong and the Philippines, and some great experiences and some great stories. But Doddie, very similar to Rob, flawless individuals as human beings. They'd be in a room and everybody would walk into the room and they'd all feel good about themselves. They both had this ability to be able to smile and bring the best out of people, and both cheeky and mischievous a little bit, dare I say, at times. But yeah, great friends and a great loss to us all.
A giant of an individual, in stature, but also in personality.
Yeah, he wasn't in proportion, by the way. I mean, I used to stand alongside him at the urinals, and I'm only 6 foot, and I stood a little bit further back than Doddie. But I'll say that, I just need to get that out there. Huge individual, all good, all positive. Nobody could possibly say a bad word of him. I think it's impossible. I had some amazing experiences with him, and with his family, with Kathy and the boys, They always thought I was a bit of a pest, at times. I always remember a couple of years ago we went up to his memorial up in Melrose. Myself and Paul Wallace and Jeremy Davis, we all made a conscious decision, together with all the rest of the Lions. We went to celebrate his life rather than mourn his death. And then we went the following morning. Hamish took us around his son to visit the grave. And it was took me a long time to get over it, actually.
Sunday, obviously, another important way of remembering him, and
100%.
The reason why we're here, also.
100%. Yeah, for again a real cruel condition, a condition of which the head doesn't change, that remains intact, but it's the body that breaks down, and there's only one outcome at the moment. And of course, I remember Doddie getting diagnosed, and he was told basically go look on the internet and see what works for you. And he thought that wasn't good enough, and then spent the next few years raising the awareness and trying to seek a cure, trying to find something that can cure this horrendous condition. Obviously, we've lost Doddie, as we've lost Rob. Again, both lovely men, but Ed, of course, has got his own fight on his own hands now, and I just think it's marvellous that all the boys are prepared to play, and people are going to come and support for what's a wonderful cause.
What are you expecting to see on the pitch on Sunday? How can the two coexist?
Do you know what? I've always said both sports, both games of rugby are very simple games made difficult by simple people. The game's about space. If it's there, exploit it. If it's not there, create it. However, I've always said that rugby league, whilst extremely fast and dynamic and very confrontational, when you get tackled in rugby league, the game momentarily stops. In rugby union, when you get tackled, the game commences. I think the biggest challenge, number one, watching it. I can't play, I've had a hip replacement, and I'm too old anyway, and I make myself look a bit of an arse, because every time I walked across the sideline, something in the head changed. I just wanted to fight with people. But whilst it'd be challenging watching it, for the players who are playing it, yes, there'd be a bit of uncertainty at times. But what about the poor referees? What about the refs? They get so much. I've always said both sports lends itself to. It's got something for everybody in life. Tall, small, fast, slow, fat, thin, young, the old, boys, girls, and then we've got a wonderful ability in our sport, unlike football, to be able to weed out and sort out the arseholes amongst us, who then, lo and behold, become referees. Without which, of course, we wouldn't have a game, would we? They're going to do a great job, I'm sure. And do you know what? Come the end of the day, it's about raising the awareness, which is already way up there now. about an horrendous condition, and hopefully, raising some good money to go towards the research, establishing a cure.
If they don't become referees, they join the media pack. That's the,
That's
the concern.
Yeah.
You obviously switched between codes a few times
Yeah.
in your career. Did you ever at any point get confused on the field about what you were playing? Obviously, you're a professional athlete. I'm on the sidelines. I ain't got a clue what's going on. But.
Yeah, no, I was clear with it. I started in rugby union initially, having played both. I played football as well at school, but made a conscious to play rugby union and then chose to come across to rugby league. That switch for me was quite challenging when I was 21 in 1988, in the sense that I signed for Leeds. Everybody hated Leeds. I was from rugby union. They all thought I was soft, which never happened second time round. And I was a serving police officer. So you can imagine playing at Hull and Featherstone and Castleford and Wakefield, how much stick I got. Not just on the field for being a copper, but off it, areas that were extremely militant during the miners' strike. But I took it in my stride and enjoyed the experience, actually. I was pretty clear. This business on Sunday, it's a little bit more structured. Well, I say structured in the sense that what you're allowed to do in one part of the field and what you're allowed to do in the other part. I hope they all get to grips with the laws or the rules, whichever you want to call them, whichever game you're thinking of. And we have a great occasion celebrating these boys who have got amazing backgrounds, in terms of their careers, but the fact that they're to come and turn up and play on Sunday is brilliant.
You mentioned both codes are simple, but can you dispel the myth that rugby league is a technical sport? People say rugby union's more technical, this and the other. You must see some kind of technicalities in rugby league that people don't realise.
Of course not. It's all about skill. I think with both sports, control in your life what is within your control, whether you're playing as an amateur sportsman or a professional sportsman. And ultimately, as a sportsman, a rugby player, your tools are what you put into your body, your physical condition, your skill set, and in turn the top 2 inch or 4 inch in my case, But it's of course both skillful games. You get your critics from either side playing hell about the other one, clap and catch with a kick in. Both have changed and had to change. Again, I still think it's about entertainment. And there's both games at times lack that entertainment during short periods, but it's supposed to be exciting, it's supposed to be thrilling, it's supposed to be ferocious at times, and we love the game, don't we? We love it.
So I'm more fascinated about where this may take us, because I think we understand why we're going to be here and who we're here for.
Yeah.
And that's carrying on something. But at some point, will somebody look back in time and say this was the game that the codes started coming back together again?
I think we did that a little bit earlier, actually, Phil, in 1995. I suspect, on behalf of some of the rugby league boys and hierarchy, a little bit begrudgingly, the rugby league had broken away 100 years earlier. And initially played rugby union, and then decided to change the rules as they then became the Northern Union and make it more attractive. And then spent the next 100 years being treated like second-class citizens, really. And actually, I think in 1995, when rugby union suddenly decided to come clean and turn professional, they looked and thought, wow, there's a sport over here that's been professional 100 years. Let's go pinch all the players and coaches. So I think that was a little bit begrudging on behalf of some people involved with rugby league, but what we recognised, if you remember, in 1995 when Bath played against Wigan at Rugby League at Main Road in Manchester and then swapped it and played rugby union at Twickenham, what we recognised, they are both very different games. I've always said rugby league, whilst it's extremely fast and confrontational, when you get tackled in rugby league, the game momentarily stops. In rugby union, it actually commences. That's when it begins. And it was recognised that they are different. And I think those prejudice and what have you have dropped a little bit. I mean, I played rugby union and I was a little bit prejudiced towards rugby union from down the south because it was all public school boys who got picked and whatever. And I was a class warrior in that sense. But, life moves on, things change. We live in a world where parents used to have lots of children. Now children have lots of parents. You know, it's everything changes, and it's about adapting and recognising change. And Sunday is a recognition that we've got two amazing sports that are coming together as one to celebrate probably the lives of Rob and Doddie, but at the same time recognise where Ed is. You know, and that we need to continue to fight and try and establish a cure for this horrendous condition.
In terms of change, clearly there are economic factors in both sports, you know, but that hasn't been before.
Yeah.
You know, even Rugby Union is feeling that.
Absolutely.
We've got potential litigation around head injuries and all
Yeah.
that. Is that even more reason why the two sports actually possibly could come together on the field rather than just admire each other from afar?
I'm not so sure that will be the case, Phil. I do think the games will start issuing disclaimers for the players to sign. It is a concern. The two most offensive words in the world are health and safety, whatever you do in the world, and wherever you go. And actually, you know, I understand that, and it's people's welfare and care. Some of the boys are in a little bit of a mess. Alex Poppen, Dan Scarborough.
Your whole team.
Yeah. But, you know, it's... I think I'm just as daft as I was when I was playing. Yeah, thank you. That's recognition of that. So there's no measure for me. There's no measure. I've always said to my wife, you'll never find another me. She's always saying, can I just assure you, Bentley, the last thing in the world I'm looking for is another you. I want somebody normal next time. The next husband's going to be really normal, it's going to blend. But it's recognising where you're at, and, you know, life's a bit of a struggle sometimes, full stop. I just think it's a wonderful occasion on Sunday, and I hope it's well attended and well supported.
And just finally, and a bit off topic, how did you enjoy being Master of Ceremonies at Wakefield this year?
Yeah, I loved it. I really enjoyed it. It took me a little bit of time to make some adjustments. I went in and thought, boom, I'm going to make it the John Bentley show. And I remember after the first game, drove home in my car and thought to myself, you need to have a look at yourself, Bentley. You know, you need to perhaps take a step back and understand this isn't all about you. And what I have done over a period of games and towards the back end, I've really enjoyed it. It's been a room that's full of good people. And the great thing about doing what I've done and what you're doing now, gentlemen, is we've a sport that still belongs to the people, whether it be Rugby League or Rugby Union, and we've got access to players. And that was a real important ingredient at Wakefield, the access that we were allowed for the players then to come and speak pre-match and post-match. They were fantastic. And I actually when I first got appointed, I asked Daryl if I could go and address the players, because a lot of these players weren't born when I was playing, you know, a little bit of a dinosaur. And, you know, I just went along to say, look, I'm there to help you promote your personalities. And they were outstanding. As I've experienced, all the rugby players I've obviously crossed swords with and interviewed like you're doing now and had a little bit of time with, and it's quite refreshing.